Hello everyone, welcome back to the Zekko Football Channel. In one of the most exciting games of the weekend, Arsenal take on Tottenham. And today we're diving in and dissecting how the game will break down. If you're new to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe, you like the video, and turn on those notifications. Go on, just right now, just scroll down, click and thank you. And now, let's talk of the North London derby. To begin, let's have a look at the starting lineups. Arsenal is up first as they are the team at home. So we have Aaron Ramsdale coming back into goal. I believe he will be back in favour with Mikel Arteta after he was dropped against Everton. Then we have the back four, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel and Alexander Zinchenko. The back four stays completely the same, as I think this is the best back four they can possibly offer. And Thomas Partey is injured, so he can't come and play at right back, I think, for the betterment of Arsenal. Declan Rice is the central defensive midfielder, and up in front of him I've got Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard. Kai Havertz is going to be a major talking point in this. However, I believe after benching him and giving him a little bit of a rest, I think he'll come back into the starting lineup. Fabio Vieira didn't exactly excite me from the start against Everton, and so I think he will then pivot back to Kai Havertz in this right attacking midfield zone, and it's because of this that will enable Martinelli to then go forwards again. Martinelli obviously being a doubt after his injury against Everton, but all signs point to an ability for him to start on Sunday. Bukayo Saka out on this right hand side, of course. And the other major change I've gone for is Eddie Nketiah. I think with what the North London derby means to Arsenal and the way that I think Nketiah will get this game a little bit more than Gabriel Jesus, I can see Nketiah starting. I think Jesus will be very good coming off the bench. He has good physicality, he's got good running power, and he's very good with the ball at his feet. But I just believe that Nketiah, with the emotion that's in this game, I believe Mikel Arteta will start him ahead of Arsenal's number 9. This is your Arsenal team. Now let's have a look at the Tottenham Hotspur side. This is an unchanged lineup from the game that they had against Sheffield United. Vicario still in goal, Van de Ven and Romero as the two centre-backs, Udogie and Pedro Porro as the right and left backs. Porro looking like he went off injured in that game, but he should be fine for the match against Arsenal. Bissouma and Pape Matar as the two central defensive midfielders. The main man himself, and probably the most important player in this Tottenham Hotspur side, James Maddison, picking up that central attacking midfield role. And then you have the two wingers, Solomon and Kulusevski. Now, what you could have done in this instance, because I have Son up front, is have Son move over to the left-hand side and bring in Richarlison, Tottenham's main number 9. However, I believe that Ange Postecoglou will stick with Son up front. His link-up play with Maddison, Solomon and Kulusevski is very, very good, and he's also able to pick up different channels in this match. I'm thinking about the runs between the likes of Saliba, between the likes of Gabriel and Zinchenko, and his ability to drift and sprint forwards is something that is going to be very, very useful for Tottenham. If you think about his explosive speed over a short period of time or a short distance, it's going to be something like that that is needed just to be able to get the run on one of their opponents. Maddison will be able to find those passes into Son, and it's just the amount of quality that Son has and the confidence that he's currently showing. It's something that Richarlison is really struggling with, and I do believe that Richarlison will have an impact off the bench. But this is the starting 11 that I believe that Ange Postecoglou will go with, and it's also arguably their strongest 11 currently. It's going to be a very, very interesting game, and if all of these players play, I believe it will be a good one. So how will the game break down? I'm actually extremely excited for this, not only because it's a North London derby and we know how they play out and the tastiness and the fire of it. There's a bit of needle in the game all of the time, but also because both sides, in this instance, Tottenham and Arsenal, want to play possession-based football. They both like going forwards, they both like attacking. Now, typically, in this game, the home side actually has the advantage. It's normally the home side that wins these matches more often than not, and the vice versa can be said going over to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So I do believe that Arsenal will come out on top to begin with. They'll impose themselves in the game with their possession-based football, really moving Declan Rice across, allowing Zinchenko to come into midfield when in possession. The runs from Kai Havertz and pockets of space picked up by Martin Odegaard are going to be absolutely key to isolate not only the two centre-backs, but also to draw away the two fullbacks. This is going to allow isolated duels for Martinelli and Saka to be able to have those 1v1 situations, isolate their man, and then either beat them on the outside going towards the byline, for a cross to the edge of the box, or to be able to cut inside. If they cut inside, you know that Bukayo Saka is going to have the ability to take a shot on towards goal. Vicario has been a little bit suspect from shots from outside the area, especially in that first game against Brentford. I think long shots from distance are something that Arsenal are going to really want to look towards. They know that they have the ability of Nketiah to really drive into spaces, and it's going to be the interplay on the outside of the box to be able to have little movements inside the box to allow Arsenal to unpack this Tottenham defence. Van de Ven is very good at holding up play, and so is Romero, but watch for Romero to start diving into challenges. If Arsenal have too much of the ball, I can see him getting a little bit impatient. He needs to keep his head and he needs to maintain his resolute defending. If he doesn't do this, Tottenham are going to crumble very, very quickly, and I actually don't think they've played a team with the calibre of Arsenal, with the pressure that they can exert onto a side. And it's going to be very interesting to see how Tottenham deal with this. So this is how I see Arsenal going forwards, and it looks something like this. If you notice the pockets of space that I've just highlighted in this area and this zone created by Zinchenko coming into midfield and Declan Rice, this is going to be where the ball is recycled most. Martin Odegaard is going to be a key player in this, in that he's going to be picking up these pockets of space to allow the rest of his team to almost create this zone in its entirety. The runs from Kai Havertz and Odegaard through behind the defenders, those blindside runs are going to be absolutely key. Bukayo Saka possibly feeding Odegaard and vice versa for Havertz. It's going to be the off the ball runs that is going to open up this Tottenham defence, especially with how serious every little moment is going to be. The passes in towards Nketiah is going to be absolutely key. If you think about the first goal that they scored in the Premier League at home, that was very, very good, especially against Nottingham Forest, a team that likes to sit back. I can see Tottenham being very, very defensive, staying resolute, and then looking to break with the likes of Kulusevski and Solomon. But when Tottenham do have the ball, I do believe they're going to be a danger themselves. James Maddison in this pocket of space, once they pick up the ball, the transitional play will be there, but it all depends on how they can fare against the likes of Gabriel and Saliba. Ben White could be isolated against Solomon, especially with his pace. And if Ben White wants to do any overlapping runs to try and help out Bukayo Saka, there will be a massive pocket of space left for the likes of Solomon or Son to be able to drift into this channel. Going forwards for Tottenham, I believe they want the ball as well, and they should look something like this. Something a little bit different in the case of Pedro Porro and Destiny Udogie coming into these central midfield areas, allowing and unlocking Pape Matar Sarr to be able to go forwards, almost creating a right attacking mid-zone. And this allows him to both pick up pockets of space, but also to drag away Kai Havertz. Declan Rice is going to be attracted towards James Maddison more often than not, and that leaves Martin Odegaard. What does Martin Odegaard do? Does he decide to come and press with his fellow teammates? This is going to be the enticing thing for Arsenal, but if Tottenham play out of that press, all of a sudden they've isolated a load of players. Now they then have different opportunities to go forward. Speaking of opportunities to go forward, once Maddison picks up the ball, which he will do, it's going to be a key area and battle between Declan Rice and James Maddison. Runs from Pape Matar Sarr diagonally through into the box or into channels are going to be the main avenue that Tottenham like to go forwards. Vice versa could happen for Sarr on Maddison. Maddison can make that driving diagonal run. This drags and attracts players towards the ball, dragging Saliba away and then isolating the duels between Zinchenko and Kulusevski and Solomon and White. These are less important than in the Arsenal side of the pickup. However, it's still something that Tottenham are going to look to do. The spreading of the wingers and making sure that they're as wide as possible gives those extra pockets of space for both Maddison and Pape Matar Sarr, controlling the ball with Pedro Porro and Destiny Udogie, who I might add have not been pressurised yet in tight-knit scenarios under pressure. Yes, they have been pressed and they've done quite a good job with it, but Yves Bissouma is going to need to do an amazing job of drifting between the two to make sure that the possession can maintain in Tottenham's favour. I believe the key man in this instance is James Maddison. The pockets of space that he picks up deeper in the pitch to allow Tottenham to then go forwards, finding the likes of Pape Matar Sarr, Heung-min Son and the two wingers are going to be key in Tottenham going forwards. But how do I see the game playing out? Like I said, I believe that Arsenal will be maintaining pressure. I think being at home, they will have home advantage and the ability to really start to gain the momentum. However, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens if Tottenham get the ball. If they maintain a level of possession, perhaps there might be a frustration within the Arsenal camp that things aren't going their way and things could turn, especially being a North London derby. I expect it being a bitty affair, but one with quality, pace, power, and just some really good action. It's going to be a fantastic game to watch, and I've got Arsenal just pipping this one. I believe Arsenal will win this game by 2-1, but it'll be one of the most entertaining North London derbies that we've seen in quite some time. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, take care.